Talk the tea with Nikki and Emoji. The tea, the tea, the tea, the time, the truth, the talk.
Feel the night pain. Get up off your sass. Queens ring the party. Get up off your sass.
This is the tea.
And now, Burlington's own darling TV queens, straight from the heart of the Queen City, Emoji, Nightmare, and Nikki Champagne!
This is the tea.
Welcome to The Tea, two queens bringing together arts and activism. I'm Nikki Champagne.
And I'm Emoji Nightmare. We have a very exciting lineup on today's show, including the creators of the Tea theme song, Rue Mevlana. And we also have WCAX's Darren Perron, award-winning news journalist.
I was able to host a gig with him one time, and he brought his Emmy with him.
Oh.
Yeah, he
Oh
said,
my gosh.
"Have you met my girl, Emmy?"
Oh.
It's like, okay, queen.
Sit down, be humble.
Yeah. It was amazing. I got to touch it too, so.
Oh my gosh, you touched, did Emmy give their consent?
I did. I asked for Emmy's consent first.
Consent is sexy.
It is. It's so sexy. Speaking of sexy, let's talk about this pride wear that I have on today. It's in honor of this discussion going on in regards to the pride flag. What the heck?
So they added some colors to it. What's the big deal?
So just to give some background, in Philadelphia, they hung a new pride flag that has black and brown on it to signify the person of color community within the greater queer community. And people are shook. They cannot.
Baba shook?
They are Baba shook about this, and they cannot handle it. I don't care.
I don't either. I mean, honestly,
well,
the more
I do
the merrier.
care. Let me correct that. I do care in the respect that, like, we should be representing and really showcasing our, like, person of color community, because so often when you think of pride, you're thinking of, like, not to say, like, white pride, but, like, yeah, you're seeing a bunch of white gay men dancing around in the streets. So why not showcase that? Like, we have a really diverse community, and I think saying that race is a component of that and the intersectionality is not a bad thing by any means.
And the rainbow is all about bringing together every facet of our community. So adding in those 2 extra stripes, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's a great decision.
Right, and the original one had 2 extra stripes to begin with. Yep, so it had a bright pink and an indigo. But apparently there was not a lot of hot pink fabric out in the day, so we had to take that one off, and they went down to just these colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, because 7 would have been a weird number. 6.
You can count.
I can, counting with queens. Well,
I just thought of like Sesame Street and the count.
1, 2, 3.
Well, anyway.
So last week we did not have a new episode
No.
because we decided to launch something new instead.
I know.
Your little baby that you made.
I birthed something. We made a website, and it's really it's great. So nightpain.com, and we are housing our full episodes, our interviews, and then our web exclusives, which this week included a little blog I wrote on my trip down to Provincetown, where I met Sewell Whittemore, and she was just fantastic. So to give you a little bit of a background, you'll want to go to the website to see it all.
Right.
But
pictures included.
Yeah. Some really fun pictures.
Very fun.
Yeah.
I love them. She's a true queen.
She really is. So Sewell lived here in Burlington for, I think, over 2 decades, had Cato Gifts on Church Street, which is where Kiss the Cook is now, and was just always very active in the equal rights movement, the female reproductive issues, and worked for Vermont Woman, which is a newspaper out in South Hero.
Awesome.
So yeah, she was great, and we get to stay with her. She got to show us Provincetown, and we took some photos.
Such pretty photos, and she lent you some clothes.
Yes, you'll have to see
jewelry.
You'll have to see the outfit I'm wearing in the photo shoot You can check that out on nightpain.com. That is a Sewell outfit, head to toe. Sewell.
Great.
So yeah, it was great.
Well,
I'm back now. I'm not gonna move to Provincetown anytime
not?
soon. No.
Are you going back
It's
for Bear
nice.
Week?
No.
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 Did you find the footlong hot dogs?
I did, and you can see
Yes.
that picture up on my Instagram
Perfect.
at Emoji Nightmare. And you'll see. There was a straight couple there. They were waiting for their footlong, and I said, "Act natural." And I scurried across the street, and I posed with the sign,
Act natural.
"Act natural." And he said, "Tag me on Instagram," so I did.
Great.
Yep.
So
Tag
speaking
that ass.
of wonderful outfits and tagging our theme song producers, we have Rue Mevlana here with us today, who provided us a wonderful music video as their intro. So let's go watch that. Now that is just the perfect intro for the guests who sing our theme song that gets stuck in my head every single week. Rue Mevlana, welcome.
Thank you for having us. This is the tea.
Can we do like a group sing along?
Just to feel the night.
Who sings that? Because that is so high pitched. Holy crap! Like we cannot hit it.
We can't. We've
Diva.
tried.
So,
Diva here.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Shantae, you stay, because that is like. Did you see our clip of us singing it in
Yes.
the studio?
Yes.
On break?
Yes. I saw it and I was like, oh my god. I immediately messaged it to her. I was like, you have to watch this. It's so cute. It's so freaking cute.
We
I
forget
think we-
sometimes, like when we're just hanging out for the next guest, that we're still being recorded.
And we almost shattered the glass when we tried to hit that high note. It was piercing the ears, honestly.
But yeah, I obviously thank you so much for creating our theme song because it's amazing.
fun.
I know. We had so much fun doing it.
Just
Yeah.
so everyone knows, like we had not met, and how did that even come across? Like a mutual friend maybe mentioned it or something. I don't even know.
I saw that you were doing the show.
Okay.
And I got really excited. And I was like, because, I used to love the Cherry and Yolanda show. And I've always felt like there's been a huge void, in this town. Like, there needs to be a voice and, a place, a platform
Yeah.
that you created. And so I was all excited. And I've always wanted to write a theme song. It's just been, one of those things. And, we work together all the time on, myriad of projects. And I was like, I want to do it. So I was just threw it out there. I was like, they probably have one already, and they won't want ours, but whatever. I'll try.
Just not gonna lie, we were like, what if it's I have no idea.
You're like, what?
What if we don't want to use it? I was like, you never know. But it's a free theme song. They're just doing this for us because they are a fan of the concept. That's amazing. And really, my only the only time that I ever saw you was at Drag Ball.
Yep.
And I'm always stuck in the small room, and you guys always perform in the big stage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
So,
I never get to see your performances,
Right.
and you never get to see our performances.
Right.
We need
So
to
anyway.
change things up.
Yes.
I know, right? Come on stage with us.
Please. The only way we'll get
Looking out
over
for
that.
next year. Keep tuned. So I would love to go over that intro video that we saw.
Yeah.
What was that mashup?
Okay, so it's all our music videos. So we've been playing music for a long time, right? For a long time. We started in the early 2000s, the early aughts, and
Don't count.
yeah,
Stop.
just stop counting. I know, right? And then since that time, have produced stuff with the help of VCAM. I mean, I love VCAM, and that's the other reason I wanted to do the theme song, is because I love this place. Like, I think it's a great community source, to get your words out there, or your creative juices flowing or whatever. So we made a bunch of music videos
Using the equipment here?
Using the equipment here,
Nice.
yeah. I mean, sometimes we'll use other people's equipment. And I have gear at home and all that sort of stuff. But this is a great resource. And then everything we do airs, here. And then so that's all the videos from all of our previous albums. We have four studio albums. Actually, we brought you some gifts.
Oh my
So we
goodness.
just re-released our first album, which is so trashy. It's Drop the F-Bomb. There are some nasty songs on this.
Oh, we love nasty.
nasty.
But 10 years ago, and the limited edition vinyl
It was
comes
10 years
with.
ago. We're so grown now, right?
I know. We're so sophisticated. We weren't drunk at all when we wrote the T. No. But we re-released it. It's out. You can listen to it on Spotify and all those things.
Wow, you're so official.
And then we
And
put it on.
cassette.
And we put it on
Oh my
cassette because we're so kitschy like that.
You are. So hipster.
So those are for
of
you.
Wow, thank you so much.
And then we have some of our 2 more recent albums. Popcorn is our most recent album, and Synthetic Emotion was released before that.
That's popcorn.
Oh, wait a second. Those are the shoes you're wearing now.
That's right.
There we go.
Oh my
Because the shoes
goodness.
I had that I wanted to wear didn't work with these pants.
So these are for you as well.
Wow.
We have a lot of music to listen to now.
We do.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is very gory. It's giving me some
Michael
soft-
Heaney did our cover art. Michael Heaney's a great artist.
Yeah, he's an amazing
in town.
photographer.
That one, it was a piece that he did, and I saw it in a show, and I saw it, and I was like, "Can we please use your art, the one with the heart?" I was like, I love that, and I think it works really well with what we've got for the concept of that album. And then the other one was a photo shoot, which we actually used in a music video for
Oh, yeah,
shooting
that's right, 'cause we
Starlight.
shot a
shot
video
the
that day,
video
that's
while we
right.
were doing the photo
With
shoot.
the watermelons.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw some
Yes.
of those. I was casually stalking.
Yeah. Nice.
Casual.
I know. I'm always
Watermelon.
casually stalking
Yeah,
everybody on
it's good. It's
Facebook.
Good thing to do.
So
You write a lot of these songs. I
We
just
write
noticed,
most
sorry.
of them. I mean, occasionally we'll do a cover. We did a
Yeah.
cover of Lofty Neck on Popcorn, which was from Return of the Jedi, and it's written in Huttese, and it's sung in Huttese, which is Jabba the Hutt's language.
Yeah.
Is that what I know? Who am I?
yeah, that's you.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
A slug.
It's a really, really good song.
Yeah, it's such a good song. And it got cut when they redid the whole when George Lucas went in and did his remastering or whatever. And but we love that song, and I found the sheet music, so we were like, we're gonna do a cover of that one. But everything else is written by us. We've got
We have quite a book.
we have quite a songbook. Yeah. Because we write songs
just
all the
can't
time. We
stop.
get together at least
God.
usually once a week and work on music. and then I'm a little OCD, so I work on the music incessantly.
Just all the
So
time.
then Hannah
all
comes
the
back.
time. And then
it's
Hannah
like-
comes in, and then Hannah comes in and is she reins it in, she
We do that for each other, I think.
yeah,
We let each other go, and then we pull each other back.
right.
Catch and release.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a good working relationship. It really
is.
works because
Yeah.
it's hard to find someone that you work well together with,
Tell me
and
about
that
it.
you just that you have that simpatico,
Yeah. Do we have that?
I think we do. We do.
I think you do. At least, I mean, I don't know what happens when you're off camera, but
It's me apologizing mostly. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to.
I crossed that line again.
Yeah, but I really want to see this performance in the future of. Can you say the name of the song?
Rue Mevlana? Or wait,
Oh, no.
Shooting
The-
Starlight? Lofty Neck?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And Shelby actually sings that one. She's got it down.
Shelby.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
her song.
Yeah,
Wait, so there are
There's
more
more.
members.
There. Okay, so Rue Mevlana is not us two. There's a lot of people in it. There's a core group. There's Mariah Vallejos and Shelby and Rebecca and
Allison.
Allison Bannister, and then through the years there have been a whole bunch of other people that have contributed. And then our shows, you know, like we'll sometimes have a cast of like 15 to 20 in our shows.
And
Because
you like create like theatrical. There's like a lot going on.
yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll go out and we'll like pretend we're a real band because it is electronic. So like, you know, sometimes I'll have the keyboard and I'll like
Yeah,
plunk
we've done
the
that.
chords and like
I like that.
and like we'll have a
Casual
guitar and be like,
plunking.
Yeah, lots of distortion.
I got a power chord here. I'm just gonna play it because
Most pop artists do.
Yeah.
when they go out. I mean,
Yes.
True that.
yes, but we do understand like music theory and like we're studio musicians. So but that's why like most often we'll create these like phantasmagorias that you see on stage. So you have like it's a series of like images. So it's like a nightmare, like a dream, you know, like where, you know, like something's
kind of
happening.
like that compilation you created almost.
Yes, exactly. Where it's just like flashes of things, and we have like monsters and then creatures and like phantoms and.
I like that.
And
We need to definitely be in one of these.
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
and it's a collaborative effort. Like rarely the shows are like so structured. Like sometimes we work on like a very it's a very loose structure though, and then we get together and rehearse together and see what comes up.
Things
You know, someone's
evolve,
like,
yeah.
I found this umbrella I want to use, and I'm like, okay, like let's try it out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we all kind of like unanimously are like, yeah, save the umbrella.
Or like, how about we don't?
How about we don't? We could do that, or we could not.
We've been in some drag practices like that before.
Right, yeah.
yeah.
Because I mean, essentially, we're drag queens too. You know, like,
Yeah.
like we're just putting on drag shows. We just write our own material. You know, like, that's it.
It
And that's
seems
that's what gets you on the big stage.
right,
Getting
and
to
it seems
Lamaze.
very queer. Just like
Oh yeah,
super queer.
It's queer. It's all about like sex and like drugs and emotions and like all the things that lurid things that we like deal with in like our own lives. You know what I mean? Like and you know, from inspirations that we get from watching
Anywhere.
TV or what, you know, reading
Yeah.
a book
Anywhere.
or whatever. Anywhere.
Yeah.
Really. You know.
So what are some of the musical influences for Rue M?
That's a really good
I
question.
mean, I like pop music. I mean, lately I'm like Selena Gomez obsessed.
I love Selena Gomez.
Come and
Have we
get it.
actually talked? No, we have. We've gone down a YouTube hole about her.
Sometimes we
Yeah.
forget that we're working on music and we go down a YouTube hole for a little
Oh,
while.
he has a really nice big computer.
Yeah, so
Very
we get like
highly
Easy to get
pixelated.
entranced.
yeah. So you know, pop music.
Have you
but-
seen the Bad Liar video that she just put out?
Oh no, she has a video for it.
Oh my
That
God.
song is like on my playlist.
Cut
all the-
to.
I know, like enough of this interview. We gotta see Selena Gomez.
She does 12 different characters.
Oh, really?
Oh wow! Like
Yeah.
she's
That's
like like she's
interesting.
having like a personality like split thing.
It's inspired by something, but I can't remember what it is.
Oh neat.
Some movie of some sort.
Neat.
Yeah.
That's
so.
good because usually her videos aren't that good.
I know. I'm not a fan of her videos
Well,
generally.
check it out.
Okay, I'll check it
Okay.
out. I'll check it out. Yeah, but I love her
Pop
music.
music.
So pop music, and then like I don't know, glam music, like
definitely
you know,
glam.
like T-Rex, and you know, of course Bowie, and you know, and then you got Madonna, and then I am a disco historian. Like
Oh.
when you guys come over to
Like
my house,
Sylvester?
sometime- yeah, oh yeah. I mean, like if you
That's like my
come-
one, like, I feel like I have a little bit of street cred when I drop Sylvester. As their-
drop a
You
name.
mean like Sylvester?
like Sylvester?
Otherwise, I'm like very,
Yeah,
I'm
see-
like really bad.
yeah.
At least you have one.
But see, I love that. But like, you get into Sylvester, and then you're like, well, who produced that? Oh, Peter Crowley. Okay, like now I'm gonna like listen to Peter Crowley. Like, what has he produced? You know, and then you like go through
I
like,
do that with songwriters sometimes.
Yeah, see,
like
exactly.
Julia Michaels, who now has a
who's
hit.
that?
Exactly, she writes for a lot of songs for Selena Gomez
She
and Gwen
does.
Stefani and
Oh.
with Justin Tranter, who's
Stefani.
queer, and they're like a power couple in the songwriting.
oh my
Yeah,
god,
so, yeah, that-
I
I do the
love
same
nerding
thing.
out to music. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. So like. I'm a disco historian, so you could come over to my house and I could give you the history of disco from like, you know, on vinyl, because I collect vinyl, like it's going out of style.
Well, it did, but it's
It
back
did,
now.
but it's back.
So good job.
I was collecting it while it was out of style, and I would see these things, and I'd be like, you know, there's a million copies of that. I'll pick it up sometime. And now I'm like, I want something, and I'm like, I have to pay $30 for that. I'm like, when it was like in the throwaway bins, like. 10 years
I
ago.
got some like Tammy Wynette cassettes from my grandmother. Those I will hold on
Yeah.
to.
Oh, yeah.
Don't ever let that go.
I mean, they're already like,
kind of
they're
having
coming back
a resurgence. I mean, yeah.
Every
I mean,
high schooler's really fortunate right now.
they're hideous, like, quality. That's the problem with cassettes, is they do deplete. Like, vinyl, if it's taken care of, is, generally stays, it stays.
Yeah. You get to take care of it.
You got to take care of it. Whereas tapes,
You can't run
you
it.
play
you
it.
run it ragged.
Yeah,
literally.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So people and that's what happened to a lot of records, is like they were stored in someone's like moldy basement for a while, and then like you go and pull them out and you're like, oh, you destroyed that entire Beatles collection. Awesome.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're truly passionate about music. You talked earlier about like getting into music theory. How did you get involved in the first place? Like, what made you want to start?
Oh God.
Dig deep into those memories.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I always like synthesized music. Like I always liked, the Pointer Sisters, were like that breakout album was like oh my God, everything. And I loved the sound and like Flashdance and like that sort of thing. And I always wanted a synthesizer. I was like, I need a synthesizer. So when I could turn like 17 or so, like I saved my pennies to get myself a synthesizer.
What was it?
It was a Kawai K11. It was like $300, which was like, oh my God, so much money for
With
me.
inflation, that's
I mean, like, but as a kid, I mean, like when you're 17,
that's a lot of pennies.
That's a lot of pennies that you have to save up for. And then I researched, software. So like my first music program was Mark Up the Unicorns Performer, which I doubt even exists anymore. And it was like one of the first like sequencing like things you could do. And so I made these really bad demos.
Like with loop?
Yeah, like looping and like playing it in, and like you couldn't do like live, like you couldn't sing into it or anything. It all had to be done MIDI, like into the computer and out and all that stuff. And it was always like fucking up and like giving you a hard time, but
So totally self-taught then.
Totally self-taught, yeah. And like I don't have any like I'm not classically trained.
No, but you can play piano.
Yeah. I can plunk the piano. I can like I
you
can
have a
make the
little
piano my
finesse.
bitch, like for sure. But it's hard. Like I'm like I wouldn't come on your show and play and sing, because that would I'd be like,
just wait for season 2. We're gonna be in a live. We're gonna have you on every episode performing the theme song live.
This one though.
Yeah. Are you just
this
a vocalist, or is
one?
there?
No, she can play. She can play guitar. She's played in so many bands. Like I've only really ever done Rue Mevlana. This one has been in so many bands. I mean, Dialogue for 3. What was the band you were in?
Remember? I don't remember them all. Let's see. So yeah, Dialogue for 3. The Magogs.
The Magogs.
Oh, I was in this band with 6 guys. That was fun.
Was that the one you did at the
Hero Cycle, they were called. That was fun.
Was that the one from Waking Windows last year?
No, that was my friend Steve Williams, his side project. Now I can't remember the name because you just asked me. I have a really bad memory.
I feel you, yeah.
Totally.
But it was really cool because this album we recorded a long time ago, like 10 years ago or something, and he decided that he wanted to perform it live. So we had all of these awesome musicians for one show, and I got to play and sing. It was so much fun. Yeah, we performed.
Like it was like
one
every musician in Burlington, like every
Like a supergroup.
Like a
It was a
supergroup. It was like
supergroup.
a Swale and like
Eric Olson.
yeah,
and then-
Rough Francis was
Yep,
there,
yep,
and
Bobby
then
and his
like the Smittens were there.
Yep, it was
and
crazy.
It was crazy. It was like a who's who of like the Burlington
Right,
like
'cause
rock
Colin was
music
in it, Colin
scene.
Perry, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then however many other bands were like, I mean, there were so many instruments. I was like standing there. I was like,
Yeah.
You can even like
two,
move
like,
around.
I'm
You're
like-
I have
No,
to stay.
so
I know,
Yeah,
like there were
yeah.
like
I am
there were
stationed.
people like on the
I know we
floor
had
in
some of
front,
the
and then some
guitarists
people in the
in the
back. I was
yeah.
like, there's a lot of music happening right now.
It was so loud. It was
Yeah,
so awesome.
it really
Oh my
was loud.
God.
I had to kind of go in the back. I was like, I've done some damage, so I have a little like issue, so
Yeah.
I have to have my plugs in. But it was good. It was really good.
It sounds like an amazing
My first days on
experience.
junk. That's what it's called.
Yes.
I know
There we
it
go.
comes
It
to
comes
me.
back around.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I've had, worked on a lot of different projects locally. My history, my father's a minister, so I grew up singing a lot of gospel songs, and my mom was into folk music, so I really like folk music, and I sang in high school, so like all that stuff that you do. I really like classical music. I listen to a lot of classical on my own time, and I love country as well, and pop. I really like rock music. Like Judas Priest, I feel like is a place where we really connect.
Oh yeah.
And Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah.
Some of that like kind of 1970s like crazy rock music and noisy stuff. But I like it all.
I love Rob Halford from Judas Priest. Are you familiar?
He directs me to sing like him.
I know. I'm always like, you have to like. This is Rob Halford. This is Rob Halford right
And
now.
then-
So he's a gay. He's a gay, and he's a leather
He's
daddy.
one of those.
He's one of those.
He's a leather daddy. So he comes out. I've seen him live. He comes out with like
Yes.
fringe leather, and he stands there, and he's got an operatic voice. So he like has this power, and he can. Oh my God, his
Sounds
voice.
very subtle.
His voice is gorgeous. He comes riding out in a Harley like at the beginning of every show, like
On stage?
on stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going
Dreams
down a
are made
YouTube
of.
hole.
Yeah,
tonight.
you're going down a YouTube hole. You're gonna have to watch some Turbo Lover, yeah, Hellbent for Leather,
I
right?
will
Oh, God, I
certainly
love
message
that.
her and tell her,
Yeah.
get me that out of
Right,
this hole.
it's so good. So like, she loves she'll come over and like when we go down our YouTube hole, I'm like, I have never heard of this. What is this that we're like checking out right now?
But you
know?
do that to me too.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
Well, I am ready to go down this YouTube hole, but I mean, I'm even more excited to listen to our theme song just over and over again on repeat. Like, thank you again for all of your help with that.
Yeah, of
And
course.
we look forward to listening to all of this music. We have so much to dive into now.
Nice.
So, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you so much for having us.
And we better see each other before the next drag ball.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
of
Well, we have to.
course.
You have to come over, and we're gonna like listen to
Perfect.
like who was her? Michaels.
Julia Michaels.
Julie Michaels. You're gonna
She
show.
has
You're
a
gonna
top,
show
like,
us.
20 hit right now.
Yeah, you're gonna show us
Issues.
all
Did
the
you perform
songs
it
that
yet?
she's
No, you
written.
I have not.
And then like,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna go teach you about Judas Priest and
Okay.
disco.
Oh, this sounds
They'd
like
be like a nice
perfect,
like.
yeah.
Ready for it.
Right. Oh, thank you.
It's going to complement each other so well.
I know, right?
Kristen, Julia Michaels. Great. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Do you feel the night pain? You
With-
feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
It's been
feeling
felt?
it.
Oh, I feel the night pain.
Get up off your sass.
Queens bring the party.
They do. They do indeed. Well, I'm so excited for our next guest.
With a Northeast Kingdom accent.
Ooh, yes, of course. Our WCAX anchor and award-winning journalist, Darren Perron.
How are you, ladies?
Lovely. How are you?
I'm so happy to be here. I love the show.
I outed you as a Northeast Kingdomer.
Proud of it. So
Barton,
out me
correct?
out. Yes, you got
Yeah,
it.
I'm up on my Darren Perron trivia.
Well, grew up in Glover and then moved to the big city of Barton. when
I was gonna say, what's the difference? Coventry. I mean, it's all really. It's just a melding. Orleans County, right?
Correct. Yes.
Just throw it. Just
Like
I'm
tossing
just
geography out
swishing my Vermont.
Vermont
Geography.
Geography 101. Let's
Yeah.
get the map up here and just start pointing it all out.
No big deal. Anyway.
So you are a true and true Vermonter.
Yeah. Grew up there. I have 50 first cousins up in the Northeast Kingdom. Huge family. A lot of them still up there, actually. So deep roots.
Did you get your start at the Barton Chronicle or whatever? Is that what it's
I
called?
did.
You did? Honestly?
Yeah, no
Oh.
I really did. Yeah.
That really wasn't part of my Darren Perron trivia. I was.
No, it's
But
true.
that's great.
Yeah, I was like, fresh out of college and had been interning down at WCAX and needed some cash dollars because I was just graduating. Went home, moved in with the rents again because couldn't afford to get my own place, and went down to the Chronicle. They had a part-time gig open, and yeah, they let me cover the Coventry Select Board meeting just to test me out, and
But those were
voila.
exciting meetings. A lot of hot business in Coventry.
You know, frankly, it was fascinating to me, and this is why I ended up getting a full-time gig, is because they then sicked me on the Barton Select Board, and you know, all of the boring municipalities issues were happening when every other reporter was there, but I was like, all right, well, something has to happen after everybody leaves, and then there ended up being this like huge brawl at the Select Board meeting. It was just the Select Board and me, and so I had this like front page story. The next day they were like, do you want a full-time job? And I'm like, yep, that's why I stayed late.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it worked out all right.
Cut your teeth.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I really like that story. I didn't know. But
all
not a
about
lot of people
timing.
know about
That's
that.
probably true.
So what got you interested in journalism to begin with?
You know, it was really interesting because when I was a kid, I remember liking the news more than I liked cartoons. And if I was like a really good boy, by the end of the week, I could spend the night at my grandparents' house. So every Saturday night, I would spend the night there if I was good. And my grandfather was a total news junkie. And so every Sunday morning, you know, I'd get up early with him. I, you know, loved him. He was like, you know, my favorite. And I would just watch him soaking up the information that he was getting from the CBS morning show on Sundays. And I was just like, oh, this is good stuff. So I was like, all right, I want to do this. I want to be a storyteller. So I knew really early on that this is what I wanted to do.
So you went to school for journalism.
Yep, went to Castleton. I wasn't exactly sure if I wanted to do print or TV. You know, really, I love writing. That's my first passion. And so I knew I wanted to be a journalist in some way, but I didn't know if it was going to be TV or print. So I did, you know, dabbled in all of it, and went to the paper, really fell in love with being able to write as much as you wanted. In the Barton Chronicle, they didn't tell you how much to write.
We have plenty of space.
Right, exactly. So, you know, I cut my teeth there, learned from some of the best in the business, and about a year after I was there, I got a call from Marcellus Parsons, who was my predecessor, and he was like, will you come work full-time for us? And honestly, it was a tough decision for me because I really loved writing. And so I went to the publisher of the paper. You know, I was young, I was like 21. So I was like, this is the opportunity that's been presented to me, but I don't know what to do. You know, I love working with you guys. I've learned so much, and I was still learning a lot, and still am, you know, frankly. And they said, listen, you're 21 years old. This opportunity is not going to come along again. Excuse me, you have to jump at this. And they were kind enough to say, if you don't like it, we'll hire you back. So
There you
it was
go.
a no-brainer for
Yeah.
me.
You weren't out anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Was Marcellus like a big inspiration to you? Or,
For sure.
Yeah, right?
I grew up watching
same.
him.
So that's
Yeah.
why I was like, oh, I wonder.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, he gave me my first job, first opportunity as an intern there, and he was the consummate newsman. Like, he liked a good news story. It wasn't about being sensational or anything like that. You just had to have both sides, be accurate. He was a stickler for grammar. So yeah, he was awesome.
So at the core of being the face behind the news stories is something that you've written and composed and investigated.
Yeah, generally speaking. So anytime you actually hear a reporter's voice on the air, it's something that they've gone out and, you know, dug up, covered, or whatever. Myself and my co-anchor, Kristen, then review those scripts just to, you know, make sure we're not going to get sued, and we have both sides in the story. So we act as more editors in that regard. But anything that we're reading on the air, it's either myself, she, Paul, Christine, or Kat have all written those stories. So all day long, it's basically managing crews and writing stuff for the show.
Yeah, it's a lot more work than just
Yeah.
that 60 minutes of
it's-
television.
It's 8 hours of work for every 1 minute of news that you see.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
Even-
statistic.
yeah,
like
that
that
is.
is
Yeah, because you think you have to drive to the story, you've got to set it up, you've got to write it, you've got to edit it, and then go present it on the air. So it's a lot of behind the scenes. The glory is just that 60 minutes. That you
Yeah.
talked
the
about.
60
Yeah.
seconds like we get to see.
Yeah.
And you've covered so much during your time as a journalist.
Yeah.
Including, you did a 2-week stay out in Afghanistan, correct?
Yeah.
What was that like?
You know, it's so funny. I was just coming back from a barbecue, and I was chatting with a soldier who happened to be there. Frightening, fascinating, educational, emotional, all of the above. It was pretty terrifying. I mean, we did whatever the Vermont Guard troops were doing, and we busted it out because, you know, we were only there for 2 weeks, so we wanted to see as much as possible.
Right.
So if they were headed out on a convoy, we were headed on a convoy. If they were doing a chopper run, we were doing that. If they were doing foot patrols through villages where, you know, they'd never had any contact with American soldiers before. In some villages where we went, they thought it was the Russians that were still occupying the country because they're so cut off. It's a very divided country, both geographically and politically. So in one town, they were like, yeah, U.S. troops. And then in other towns, it was, you know, pretty scary and, you know, bombs. And there was one convoy we were on. It was 4 vehicles ahead of us, a coalition forces. So it was a Macedonia tank, but hit a roadside bomb. And, you know, we heard shelling and bombings. And I was like, what am I doing here? Why did I sign up for this? But, you know, I came back with an incredible appreciation for our military, you know, because, you know, they were told to go and are stuck there, and it was an incredible experience, but I certainly would not want to go back.
Did WCAX like foot that? Is that that was all? That was their idea. They said. Well, is that abnormal for a small, like,
it was very expensive.
A little station? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I thought
totally.
it was like when they sent, I think, Alex Apple out to Iowa, not that Iowa's Afghanistan by any means.
Although politics these days probably sort of feel like it.
When they sent him out to, I think they did, right, to
Yep.
cover Bernie,
Yeah.
I thought that was like, wow, they're, you know, sending him. I wasn't aware that you had gone to Afghanistan, so that, I'm like, wow, they're really doing some stuff here.
Yeah, you know, we knew that it was going to be the largest call-up since World War II of Vermont Guard soldiers. So I chatted with one of our photographers who ended up, the two of us went together. Lance McKenzie is fantastic. He's so talented. But he's also a medic. So I was like, that could come in handy, God forbid, you know, something bad happened. And we went to the owners of the station and said, I kind of feel like it's our duty to go bring these stories back to Vermonters. Everybody's going to be wondering what's happening with our men and women who are over there, and the only real way for us to see is for us to go, because we couldn't rely on CBS or CNN, because that was only going to be if it blew up and whatever, we'd get the news of that. So we wanted to see day to day what happened over there, and we had incredible access because, you know, it was really cool because we'd pull into a camp. You know, some of these were like bombed out police stations and whatever, but they would see, like, you know, either they'd recognize me just because I'm on TV, or they would see the WCAX flag on the camera, and they were like, it was like just a glimmer of home for them. So they were like, come with us, we'll show you, we'll take you out here. But there were some really terrifying missions, and you understand why some of these folks are coming back with, you know, PTSD and other invisible wounds, for sure.
Sounds like a learning experience for sure.
Yep.
But it sounds like a sense of community was there, especially just with like the WCAX flag, bringing that like sense of home out in Afghanistan. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience, and it was a real privilege. But again, I don't think I'd want to do it again because I was pretty terrified the whole time, for sure.
But you've had a lot of great opportunities at WCAX, so you had the series Becoming. Yeah. And can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it was, you know, quite a few years ago now, but it was really when trans issues were coming to light, and people were hearing the word transgender, but they didn't necessarily know. And frankly, even being a member of the community, I didn't know a lot about it. So I was like, all right, well, let's see if I can earn someone's trust to share their story, because, you know, it takes a lot of bravery for somebody to come out that way, especially on, you know, statewide television. So I went to a party hooked up with this woman, her name, the Wig Goddess, on the Barry Montpelier Road, or Route 2, I guess.
We need to,
Who is the Wig
Goddess?
She's amazing. Her name is Claire. She's awesome. And so I called her up, and I knew that she did a lot of makeovers for trans people, and I said, I'd like to explore this. I don't really know how I go about, you know, I want to make sure that they know that I don't want this to be sensational. I just want to explain to people what it means to be trans. And she said, well, listen, I'm having a party, and it's going to be wall-to-wall, male to female trans women, and if you want, come. And I said, well, I want to make sure that everybody's comfortable. So put it out there that we'd be coming, no cameras, just to meet and hung out, had a blast, learned so much from these people and their internal struggle, and finally owning and being their authentic selves. And I learned a ton from it and met some cool people who were really willing to let me tell their story. And so I did that, and that was a long time ago. And frankly, we've come so far even from that series, because I look back at even some of the words that I was using as a journalist then, which I wouldn't use today. So so then I, fast forward 10 years, and I recently did something on Christine Hallquist, who is the first statewide, or frankly, in the country, to come out as trans CEO of a utility, which is really a male-dominated industry.
Right.
And so just looking at how I told those two stories from the 10 years that were in between, we've come so far. It's amazing.
Speaking of that story, you actually provided us a clip of that today. Yeah. So why don't we roll into that so our viewers can watch as well?
All right, cool.
What would you do if you felt you were born in the wrong body? Most transgender Vermonters keep their identity hidden for a lifetime.
For a high-profile CEO in Vermont, the secret nearly killed him. He thought about suicide, worried revealing his true self would cost him his job, his marriage, his family. But living in the shadows became too much to bear. So tonight, he is sharing his story exclusively with Channel 3 News of going from he to she.
We certainly love having
He
her
came
work with us,
bearing
but,
bad news to a town set for solar.
we have to abandon the project.
South Hero pledged support for a 15-acre, 1.5 megawatt solar project. But now Vermont Electric Cooperative can't do it. A wetland at the site raised environmental concerns.
We support community-based solar siting.
The utility's CEO, Dave Hallquist, pitched another plan, a bigger 50-acre project in a different location. VEC would partner with a big developer.
There are large solar developers who do a good job, who can afford to take that kind of risk.
Hallquist known for striking deals.
And it would cost our members more money.
A smart businessman at the forefront of innovative energy projects.
We have very advanced technology.
A respected leader.
The benefits of net metering.
Pitching in when the lights go out.
We prioritized our outages.
The town moderator in Hyde Park. And now he wants to be known.
Christine Hallquist is
as someone else.
Who I really am.
Dave Hallquist is transgender. Basically, born with a male body and a female mind.
I would never want to go to my grave knowing that I didn't tell the world about this.
Hallquist says the need to finally live the truth stems from a dark place, a place of suffering. He was bullied and beaten as a child by classmates, by nuns, who he says demanded an exorcism on the 8th grader because he was different than the other boys.
I learned early on that it would not be acceptable to be Christine.
To survive, he toughened up, started playing sports, and hid what was happening in his head.
I learned to play the role very well. I've been playing it ever since.
It worked. He fooled everyone in high school and college, and then met Pat, the love of his life. The pair married 2 years later, though Hallquist kept the painful secret.
She's been amazingly supportive, but I'm not the person she married.
Several years after the wedding, Pat discovered Hallquist's hidden wardrobe of women's clothing. She was confused, confronted Hallquist, and considered leaving, but eventually chalked it up to a phase or a fetish, like cross-dressing just for fun, hoping it would pass. She stayed so long as no one else knew.
We were going to keep this secret to our grave.
She allowed Dave to dress as Christine in private. Hallquist usually did so while playing the piano, alone. Pat didn't want to see it. Then came 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy.
It's incredibly painful not to be your authentic self.
I don't believe at all that transgender men and women have mental illness as a result of being transgender.
Rachel Inker is a medical doctor running the transgender care clinic at Burlington's Community Health Center. 300 trans patients have come here over the last 10 years, people in their late teens to senior citizens.
People will often talk about years, often from childhood, of feeling that they are not in the body that they were intended to, that people don't see who they are. And it can be a very difficult process for people, filled with lots of loss, rejection, harassment.
Counting the transgender population is challenging. The U.S. Census Bureau doesn't ask if someone is trans, and the number is not tracked by the CDC, and not everyone is out. But experts working with the trans community here in Vermont estimate the number to be around 1,400. That means for every 440 people you pass on the street, one identifies as transgender.
You know, there's so much shame. There's so much lifetime of shame, lifetime of embarrassment, lifetime of trying.
After years of hiding and periodic purging, tossing out his women's clothes, Hallquist couldn't live like that any longer.
You try and you try and you try, and at some point you realize, I can't fight this.
About 5 years ago, he told his kids.
You know, at first there's obvious personal shock.
This is a person that we're all around for the past 30 years of my life, and your 30s of your life, who's completely changing into a different person, and that's hard. And recognizing that it's hard, but then we keep coming back to the fact that we love each other.
The family stuck together, and Hallquist's son, Derek, is documenting his father's transformation. But they all admit it's been tough, and still is, especially now that Hallquist's transition is further along. He's taking estrogen and testosterone blockers. He's changing. And going public with his new identity. On this night, a first outing for Christine with a group of trans women she met through the advocacy group Pride Center of Vermont. A new outfit for the occasion. Makeup, hair, jewelry, and a bit of fashion advice from Pat. She's working to make peace with what's happening and still support the person she's loved for so long.
Thank you.
No nerves, just excitement for Christine during the hour-long ride from her Hyde Park home to Splash on the Burlington waterfront.
I feel happy.
Quickly, Christine found new friendships.
About 40 people confirmed they're going to walk.
Drinks turned to dinner, and an invite for 2 of Christine's kids to join.
In fact, I prefer now being out and hanging out with Christine because I can tell she's happy.
But their hearts go out to their mom, Pat, back at home, who's struggling with the public revelation.
We all agreed we're super worried about Mom.
The whole family is in group therapy. The marriage, though, in question.
Yeah, I know Johnson very well, yeah, of course.
We're very lucky in that we've had each other in this.
What's your biggest fear in coming out publicly?
My biggest fear now is for my wife and family, and how they continue, you know, how they adjust. When you've loved and lived with somebody for 35 plus years, forgive me, I think I'm going to start to cry. I love my wife dearly. And it's not a love. I don't need to hang on to her. I just know that this of course it's a struggle for spouses of transgender folks.
Deciding to transition takes an enormous amount of courage. It is not something that people do impulsively. It's often many years of struggling with gender dysphoria, a discomfort or depression resulting from a body that doesn't feel like is their own.
Now I've allowed myself to be who I am.
Hormone therapy, surgeries to look more feminine, or complete sexual reassignment surgery are options during transition.
Will I ever go all the way? I don't know.
Christine's not sure how far into her transition she'll go.
my brain believes I'm a woman. You know, I'm a woman. And I know that's really hard when you stare at somebody like myself who has all the physical body parts of a man. You'd say, how can you be a woman? You know, get that out of your head. You know, that's what a lot of people say, get over it. Well, sorry, I can't. Yeah, that's who I am. I can't get over this.
At 59 years old, that once scared little boy is becoming the woman she hoped and prayed to be.
Now that it's no longer a secret, it's just incredibly peaceful.
So will we see Dave Hallquist in a suit and tie again?
Unfortunately, yes. That's my costume. Do I see someday walk into the legislature as a woman? Maybe. You know, I'd love to see that day.
Hallquist has now informed her board of directors at Vermont Electric Co-op and her employees, and it's gone well. She no longer worries about losing her job. However, she is concerned about some national utility boards she sits on and whether she'll be squeezed out because she's transgender. Hallquist will send out a statewide press release tomorrow about her transition, and on Sunday will take part in Burlington's Pride celebration as Christine.
So courageous.
Yeah.
It was a great story.
Thank you very much.
It's so nice to see Christine's story told on public local media like that. It's one of those things where those types of stories don't always get covered by television in general, or media. So it's nice that WCAX had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I was, you know, it was so weird too, because I had heard that, you know, I'd heard about Christine, and I knew Christine as Dave Hallquist because, you know, I'd been covering the utility for a number of years, but I had heard, there was some rumor mill going around that, you know, that she's trans, and so she was on my call list that day. It's so strange. On my call list to say, I'd love to tell your story. I will treat it with sincerity and, you know, an honest, open mind, and I think we all can learn from you. And so on my call list that day, and then I get a phone call saying, this is Dave Hallquist at the time, I'd like to talk to you. And so I was like, well, this is so weird.
Wow.
And so I reached out, I did my pitch right away, and she was like, I wanted you to tell my story, so let's start meeting. And so we just met for coffee, got to know each other on a personal level, because all before it was like, you know, if there was storm damage or some crap like that, it was like, you know, always those kind of scenarios. And met her family, incredible family, very brave, very tough thing for all of them to go through, of course. But, you know, we're really open to having me do it, and it was a total honor. For sure.
So an extended feature like that, which has a longer runtime, would you say that took multiple, how long does it take you to piece a story like that together?
It took a long time.
Weeks and weeks?
Oh yeah, probably months.
Yeah.
Because I think it was over 9 minutes, which is unheard of in local TV news. So the station was super cool about, you know, doing it right. They, you know, gave me a ton of resources and time to be able to put it together. And yeah, I was proud of it. It's probably one of the you know, my most proud moments as a journalist was being able to tell her story.
And you were nominated for a GLAAD award for that segment, am I correct?
That one was for, excuse me, the Becoming. I won an NLGJA award for the Christine Hallquist story, though. Awesome. Yeah, it was so cool. I was hanging out with Mo Rocca and all of these, you know, CBS reporters. It was really cool. It was fun. And you know, it was a conference full of gays, so it was a good time too.
So, I mean, the gays know how to party.
Yeah,
we all know that.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because it seems like a community-oriented story. Like you said, we all are in this community together. We're the full rainbow.
Yes.
Yeah, brought that in. So
And
I
you
can
look fabulous.
Well, thank you. And we can understand why Christine would reach out to you to tell that story.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for covering that.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah.
The You Can Quote Me segments.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that? So,
Well, it's kind of like this format.
it?
It's like sitting around having coffee and, you know, tackling an issue.
So would guests come to the studios?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we flip this around sometime.
Perfect.
So that's still running. You're still doing that.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sunday mornings at 7:30 is when it airs. I usually record it on Friday afternoons because who wants to come in at 7:30 on Sunday morning?
Right.
That TV magic, it's amazing.
Right.
Well, I was watching last week, and you were discussing LGBT healthcare for youth in the state.
Yeah. Fascinating doctor. I mean, he's really, he's a new doctor. He just became a doctor, and he's starting his residency at UVM Medical Center in the pediatrics department. And he's gay. He grew up with his doctor saying things to him like, so do you have a girlfriend? You must have a pretty girlfriend and things like that. And he was like, I never really felt comfortable sharing anything with him because he automatically went there and, he said, and I think it's a huge detriment to any kids who have healthcare needs, but they're afraid because they're not either out to their families or what have it, or maybe even themselves yet. And so he was like, he wants to put his focus as a new doctor into teaching other doctors that if you have a kid that you think even might be, it has to be a different approach. And it's fascinating some of the response he says, obviously, we're in Vermont though, it's a pretty progressive state, right. But that other doctors are really receptive to learning more because, some of these men and women went to school 20, 30 years ago when it wasn't even on their, conscience that that someone could be gay or identify, as whatever. And so he thinks there's a real need and, frankly, I do too.
Right, and UVM Medical Center is right on the cutting edge, having the trans department for youth specifically. So that's
super
really
cool.
Awesome that you were able to talk about that.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great. He was really fascinating. I mean, young, go-getter doctor, and I think he's going to do great things.
Well, it makes sense, like what you were saying about things just from your Becoming series to doing Christine. The terminology that you used 10 years ago has evolved. So things are constantly evolving, and I think that's important for people in the medical industry to continue, and frankly, a lot of industries, to continue to go back and get education on certain things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
And I think frankly, I feel this way, and I'm not sure if you ladies do, but like that we're always learning.
Right.
It's a big community we have. It's an alphabet soup of people in our community. So I think we all can learn from each other, and I feel like I'm always learning something new, and I love that. So,
so what's new? What's coming down the pipeline for you at WCAX? Any hot stories? Any big features you're working on?
I'm working on, and we were chatting just before the show.
We were?
I'm working on this series now, Getting Away with Murder, and it's taking a look at some of the old cold cases in Vermont, and there are so many, and some date back to the 30s and 40s, and really difficult ones to solve.
Like disappearances, right?
Yeah,
like
disappearances and homicides that are going to be a real challenge being a real challenge for investigators because the killer's probably dead. All of the witnesses, if you're looking back at some of these in the 30s and 40s, all the witnesses are gone. But those cold cases fascinate me.
Yeah, because what if you figure it out?
It'd be so cool.
Then you'll definitely win more awards.
And this is not to be confused with the Shonda Rhimes How to Get Away with Murder.
Correct.
Which I am also addicted to, so I'm sure.
So am I.
But I'm sure you'd be open if Shonda hit you up and said, hey, I want to be on my show.
Make the call now. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Such a great time. And thank you to all of our guests who came out today. Please, we would love to hear your feedback, as always, at nightpainofficial@gmail.com.
Or on our website, nightpain.com.
That's right, it's up and running. You should go check that out as well. And be sure to tune in next week for our segment at 7 p.m. right here on VCAM. Bye.
Bye.